My name is Kate Worm. I'm going to talk about gouache, especially used with watercolor. Now for watercolor, I use American Journey watercolor pigments. And for the gouache, also from Cheap Joe's, I use Vinci. And gouache and watercolor are exactly the same components, with the exception that gouache has chalk in it, which makes it opaque. There are two other differences. The binders and so forth are in a little bit different proportion. Also, watercolor pigments are milled more finely than gouache pigments. And gouache is French for splash. Now, I mostly use watercolor, but if I care to put a light on top of a dark, which I often do, because since I work dark to light basically, like an oil painter, I have to use gouache. And I use it in a painterly sort of way, meaning not in a graphic design sort of way, not in a fabric design. Our fabric designers used to use this stuff exclusively. Now, of course, they use a computer. But gouache and watercolor are completely intermixable. I can use white gouache with any watercolor to get a tint. For example, with Viridian here, if I wanted a tint like that. Right, this is white and orange and yellow gouache. And then let's say that, I don't exactly recall the light on this figure, but let's say that we come in here. And then let's pretend that her skirt was a khaki color. And this would be the skirt area underneath that arm. Actually, I'll go ahead and put the light across that arm so it shows. This thick paint is fun because you can scrape through it with a toy. It's not showing us much there, but I'll show you again. Now, we have a khaki skirt in light. What color is khaki? I'm going to mix a watercolor violet with rose and Viridian because I have it out on the palette. And now I'm going to add yellow to that. And white as well. All right, that's good. That's a pretty khaki. And I can lay this now across these other tones. And it will pick up what's underneath. I'm going to move to a larger brush, my skipper. When you layer gouache across dry pigment, it still picks up some. What's underneath alters the pigment slightly, but only in a beautiful way. Acrylic is different, of course. It doesn't alter. Once it's down after it's dried. And then oil paint, different yet. So I can just come across that tone with gouache. And let's say I wanted to go to a pasty green light on this outside of this arm. I have orange down there already, but I can just come across that. Now that orange is a little bit pretty. That's pretty. That khaki over the orange it glows. The orange glows through, so I'm still getting a transparent quality. And the same here with this somewhat khaki area. It's good to paint with just a few colors. I usually paint with about 6 or 7. Always different colors. I try not to get in a rut. So I don't have any one color for skin tones. Let me see if I can demonstrate this toy now a little better. See, I can pull that right across. Now that's pretty. The khaki has been scraped away, leaving the orange underpainting. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of color going on here because of this this opaque pigment being layered on in that fashion. In my gouache, Da Vinci carries a full array of color, but I only use the lights. I use yellow, orange, sometimes a red, sometimes yellow ochre, and white, and then I use watercolor for all the other tones.